60-20, King Henry IV pulls away from Wolverhampton. Banbury's WD280 90315 gets the signal to restart from the centre roads with a freight including iron ore again. Prairie 4133 of Tyseley drifts through back to its home shed. She would have worked in on a local from Leamington earlier. The date is the 24th of April 1962 and 6938 Corndean Hall has worked up from Plymouth, where she was allocated at this time, and still has to get to Wolverhampton. .6026 King John arrives from Wolverhampton on its return working of the 9:10 a.m. Paddington departure. Arriving from Paddington on the 1:10 p.m. to Birkenhead is 6001 King Edward VII of Stafford Road Shed. It is just after 7 p.m. on Sunday the 26th of April 1964 and 4079 Pendennis Castle has finished the 300-mile three main lines castle tour of the SLS. Steam continued its Snow Hill for 3 more years though, and this Grange heads north with a freight in June 1964. A hall then removes empty stock from the station. A Prairie runs through with a transfer of freight in 1965. Snow Hill lingered on after March 1967. Snow Hill's memories came flooding back. We illustrate this with the sight of Black 5 45272 southbound with a fitted express freight. It is the 30th of May 1964 and an RCTS North Staff's rail tour was being backed into Snow Hill by Black 5 45020. This engine was the first Black 5 to enter service with the LMS in August 1934, having been built by the Vulcan foundry at Newton-le-Willows. We depart on this train and traverse a number of tunnels towards Hockley.
On the 1st of August 1964, Hall Class 6995 Benthall Hall of Gloucester Horton Road Shed races through Swan Village on the line from Snow Hill to Wolverhampton. It was the Saturday before August Bank Holiday and many special trains were being run. Sister Loco North Aston Hall, number 7917 of Reading Shed, follows with Southern Region stock. The junction curving away seen through the bridge is the Great Western Dudley branch. Manor Class 7820 Dinmore Manor of Oxley Wolverhampton Shed is working hard as she comes up and across Swan Lane level crossing heading for Birmingham. Dunster Castle, number 4093 of Gloucester Shed, runs down the hill followed too closely by Oxley Shed 6803, Buckleberry Grange. Further up Swan Lane, the Dudley branch crossed on a second level crossing. Pannier Tank 3607 heading a freight towards Dudley. Cheap day return to London, 32 shillings, the poster says, £1.60 in today's money.
Between Birmingham and Wolverhampton at Wednesbury, as 7005 Sir Edward Elgar hurries over the ex-LNWR branch from Warsaw to Dudley by a girder bridge on a down express. This is followed by 6999 Capel Dewey Hall on 1M10, the Saturdays only Poole to Birkenhead. Next, Shrewsbury's 7827 Lyddham Manor. '68-58 Woolston Grange slows to the 40 miles per hour restriction through Wednesbury station with another down express. Finally, 6979 Helperley Hall runs by on a freight. Mainline made a junction with the Wolverhampton to Stourbridge line, whose local passenger services ceased in 1962. Note at this time the fare of 8p in old money for the 3.5 mile return journey one could make on this DMU to Wolverhampton Low Level. Heading south on a stopping service before they were withdrawn to Stourbridge is the now preserved 5900 Hinderton Hall of Wolverhampton Stafford Road Shed. At Wolverhampton Low Level, we see the rail tour seen earlier at Old Hill and Ayleshowen, arriving from there. Wolverhampton Low Level was where the Cambrian Coast Express would usually change motive power. Up to the 1960s, this was not always the case, the London engine working through to Shrewsbury except on summer Saturdays. On train around the curve at Cannock Road Junction, we're about to go under the LMS Wolverhampton High Level to Stafford line, beyond which was Dunstall Park Station, opposite Stafford Road Shed.
6022 King Edward III was there, having been withdrawn on the 7th of September, after serving its last 3 years there. Other engines were seen there up to September 1963, when the shed was closed. Steam engines were then shedded at Oxley.
With the London-bound Cambrian Coast Express. The Shrewsbury end of the viaduct was as far as the Great Western broad gauge went. At Oxley sidings, our Super D ran round its train, as 6906 Chicheley Hall shunted in the up sidings. With the roofs of Stafford Road Works above it on the skyline, D1018 Western Buccaneer heads the 1310 Paddington to Birkenhead.
It's Codsall on a foggy 23rd of October 1965. 8Fs are seen on up and down freights. A4 60,007 Sir Nigel Gresley used this route on this day, en route to Paddington on a rail tour. In another 4 miles we pass RAF Cosford, which has now developed into a large aerospace museum. West of the station, up and down loops were laid in to hold up to 60 wagon capacity freight trains. This is Oakengates, before running into Wellington. The station was renamed Wellington Salop to differentiate it from Wellington Somerset. On the 31st of August 1963, 70,041 Lord Roberts works a Manchester to Bournemouth West summer Saturday train through the station. On the 21st of May 1966, 9F 92077 was given an outing on a passenger train. This was the RCTS East Midland and No. 9 Rail Tour, originating from Nottingham and had just come off the Stafford line east of Wellington Station. On the same day, Black 5 45040 pulls away, returning to Oxley Yards. Back in the summer of 1963, the weather is much better to watch the train movements at Wellington. This pannier is departing for Market Drayton with its single non-corridor coach. The Stafford line trains were in the hands of LMS Fairburn tanks on some of the workings. This is 42267 of Stafford Shed. Wellington, on the 31st of August 1963, we see two trains off the Cambrian, heading towards Birmingham. The first hauled by 7820 Dinmore Manor, and the second by 7818 Granville Manor. An intermediate station between Wellington and Shrewsbury was Upton Magna, 4 miles from Shrewsbury. A local DMU departs just before the passenger services ceased here in 1964. Shrewsbury Station in 1963. A manor stands in number 6 platform, while 7014 Carehays Castle waits to depart on a Paddington Express from number 7, back to where we started this video. In the last days of steam on the Cambrian Coast Express, engines were